Hi everyone. Well, my clock says we've just passed 3 o'clock, so we're on the hour. We're going to give people about a minute to join us for the webinar so that everyone gets to hear the whole thing. So just bear with us for a couple of more seconds and we'll get going about 1 minute after the hour. Good morning and good afternoon and good evening to everyone. Welcome to our webinar. And we're going to get going in just a few seconds here. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon in the middle, everybody. Welcome to our webinar. I think we'll go ahead and get going now. My clock says we're at a minute after 3 o'clock, so we will go ahead and get started. Welcome to this presentation this afternoon on the 10th Anniversary Innovation Challenge run by the RAIN Alliance. I'm delighted to be joined on this webinar this afternoon by three excellent colleagues, Hans-Peter from CNA, Hervé from Decathlon, and Jussi from Blockstore. And they're going to be helping me talk about the challenges that have been set by our end users for this really exciting and different challenge that we're launching for the RAIN Alliance's 10th anniversary. So in case you don't know, I'm Aileen Ryan. I'm the president of the RAIN Alliance, and it's my great pleasure to be the president in this 10th anniversary year. It's a big occasion for the organization and for the industry. So I will get going. Just a few housekeeping things. First of all, to let you know, we will be using the Q&A tab at the bottom of your screen. If you have any questions as we go through the presentation, please note your questions there and we'll come back to them at the end. And the webinar is being recorded and will be made available on our website in a couple of days' time. So anyone who you want to share it with, maybe who wasn't able to attend in person, or perhaps if you're attending and you think, hey, there is some people who might be really interested in this and you'd like to share it, then it will be available on our website very soon. So without further ado, I'm going to move forward through these slides. First of all, a reminder on the role of the RAIN Alliance. So the RAIN Alliance is an industry association. We have about 160 member organizations, and the role of the RAIN Alliance is primarily to foster market adoption of RAIN RFID technology. So we are uniquely focused on RAIN, or ultra-high frequency RFID technology, and our goal is to support the market adoption of this technology across multiple industry sectors. We know that the market is expected to grow at about a 30% compound annual growth rate. So really significant growth available for us all really to tap into. And you may have seen a recent announcement that we made, which has been published also in various publications based on a press release that we put out, that in 2023, just under 45 billion RAIN RFID tag chips were shipped by RAIN Alliance members. So that was a growth of 32% over the previous year. We commission about every 2 years, we commission an independent market research report. A new one will be coming out in the next couple of months. But the chart that you're looking at here, the orange bars on this chart were the market projections. So the projection for 2023 was to ship 38 billion tag chips, and you can see that we've exceeded that by a pretty big margin, actually. So this industry has great growth opportunities ahead and is already performing or outperforming against those projections. However, whilst that's a really good news story, we recognise that some challenges remain. And one of the roles of the RAIN Alliance is to ensure that we're continuously identifying what are the remaining challenges and how can we remove those challenges systemically. So one by one, how do we encourage our members to collaborate in order to remove challenges or remove any impediments to the growth of the industry. And this 10th Anniversary Innovation Challenge is one of the mechanisms that we're using to remove some of those challenges. So what is this Innovation Challenge? So the RAIN Alliance 10th Anniversary Challenge is really about providing a platform for the supplier community to drive growth and drive impactful business outcomes in RAIN RFID by bringing together some of the brightest minds in our community to produce solutions collaboratively to our collective customers' most pressing unresolved business needs. So to get the challenge initiative started, we have identified 4 challenges that we as a community would ideally like to see addressed this year. These challenges are relevant across diverse markets, and we're going to share those challenges with you today. How does this innovation challenge work? So there are kind of 3 steps effectively. So end users have identified and prioritized some key challenges for RAIN RFID adoption. And these challenges have been filtered according to a number of criteria. So there are challenges where there are few adequate out-of-the-box non-proprietary solutions. And, it's important to note that some vendors may well feel that they have proprietary solutions to some of these challenges. And in fact, some of our end users may feel like they've already invested their own R&D budgets in creating their own internal solutions. But really what we're looking for here is a need for more standardized, more open, non-proprietary solutions to these challenges. The challenges are also identified in areas where there's a real market and a real business opportunity for viable solutions. So if we're able to solve these problems, then it should be entirely possible to commercialize and make profit and build viable businesses based on these solutions or components of these solutions. And so what that means is that there's also a meaningful impact to the end user's bottom line. So these are not challenges just for the sake of challenges. These are challenges where really we believe there's a return on investment for everybody together to solve these. So we're asking in this innovation challenge, we're asking our solution provider members to come together to form challenge teams, each with, let's say, 3+ members. There's no upper limit, but obviously the larger the group, sometimes the more challenging it can be to come to a consensus on solutions. But to form teams to produce collaborative solutions to one or more of the challenge statements. So you're absolutely not precluded from attempting to solve more than one challenge. Solutions and outputs may include a live demonstration and a presentation at our RAIN in Action event in September in Florence in Italy, which is going to be a really lovely venue for a great event. We'd love to see a clear quantification of the business benefits achieved. So, have you managed to quantify an efficiency improvement? Have you quantified a cost saving? Have you been able to quantify return on investment? Any of those kind of, solid mathematical quantification numbers would be really great to see. We'd also love to see new or amended best practices or guidelines, white papers, videos, case studies, or any other materials that can be published and can be picked up by other members and reused. So things that really drive the industry forward. And we're also very keen to see webinar presentations or pre-recorded videos of solutions. This is probably not a complete list. So if you have other ideas where you say, if I produced X, would that be useful? You know, I'm sure we'd love to hear about those ideas and discuss them. So that's the kind of mechanics of how the program will work. I'm sure you're all very keen to understand what the challenges are. So I'm going to move on to that next. And Hervé has kindly agreed to present the first challenge. Before I hand over to Hervé, I do want to also emphasize that whilst Hervé and Hans-Peter and UC are presenting challenges, that's not meant to say they're the only company with this particular challenge, nor does it really mean that that company necessarily has that challenge, but it's a challenge that they're very comfortable with addressing, and so they've agreed to present it. So, Hervé, over to you for this challenge.
Thank you, Eileen, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody. So the first challenge is really something that is today getting more and more some ground in the market. Of course, as Eileen has shown, we have more and more RAIN RFID systems that are in the market and more products that are tagged with RAIN RFID. But there is one use case that is not really yet answered by I would say open and interoperable solution, which is the fight against counterfeiting. So basically, how can we answer with RAIN RFID solution to the problem that sometimes we want to ensure that the product we have in front of us is a genuine one. So it's not only to protect, I would say, the turnover of the retailer or the producer, but it's also to protect sometimes the safety of customers. So it's for many different reasons that are very important. We believe it could be a very interesting and a very nice feature that will interest different sectors. So the sector, of course, luxury in retail, luxury goods companies. Of course, the more expensive the product is, the more there will be a possibility to have a counterfeiting. Vehicle license plates for obvious reasons. Pharmaceuticals, of course. It's important to ensure that the medicine and the drugs we take are a genuine one. But I would say even for many other companies to ensure that the product is the right one for safety purpose. I think it's a key element today. You could have some very close, let's say, solution linked to one supplier maybe, but the need to get something interoperable, of course, is very important, and we need to ensure that we stay in this field. So basically, the description is quite obvious. How are we going to protect our products against counterfeiting using RAIN RFID?
Thank you, Hervé. We'll move on. We'll take questions at the end. So we'll move on to the second challenge. And the second challenge is going to be presented by UC.
Yes, thank you, Eileen, and hello to everybody from me as well. So this challenge statement is about the tagging of products, attaching tags for let's say, low volume but different form factor product. So as known, there are lots of different kind of tagging machines or tagging lines or applicators or tagging robots on the market, but mostly today they are used for high volumes. They are designed for tagging, let's say, one or two kinds of products and a lot of them very fast. But for this challenge, what, for example, we have when we are dealing with grocery products, we are doing a grocery shops utilizing RFID, RAIN RFID. So in our case, we would need to tag, as for example, 1,000 products, but they are 200 different SKUs. So only a few of a kind of each product. They are different materials, different sizes, different forms, etc. As you can imagine, what kind of products there are in a local grocery shop. There are plastic cans and boxes, bags, glass bottles, metal cans, all kind of different products, and they should be tagged efficiently, quickly, not as quickly as current high volume tagging robots do, but anyway, much more fast and efficient than humans can manually do it. So this kind of challenge statement is very interesting, at least for us, and also for similar kind of businesses, which always the question comes that how to attach tags, and that is how much it costs to put tags on the products. So especially with lower volumes, the share of the cost of the tag attachment might be actually still today a bit high. So it is about that one.
Thanks, Jussi. Great. The third challenge is going to be presented by Hans-Peter.
Thanks, Eileen, and hi to everybody, and welcome. The third challenge is about the location accuracy of reading tags. The beauty of RAIN RFID with bulk reading and reading distance up of several meters is sometimes also a challenge when I want to know exactly the location in differentiation to other tags. That means separated by different floors, by different rooms, even by different areas without any physical separation. So the point is to come up with a solution, considering that there are already existing infrastructures installed, which can be used for exactly knowing where the location of a dedicated tag is. This might be important, but is not limited to different market areas, which is retail, in-vehicle applications, in-warehouse applications, but also medical, clinical environments and restaurants.
Thanks, Hans-Peter. And then the fourth challenge, Hervé and Jussi are going to present this one.
Yes, please, Herb, would you like to go first, or?
Yes, I was on mute, sorry. So basically, this one is also technical, but a little bit of I would say business-wise, because of course, I would say most of RAIN RFID deployments are not all, but based on inventory that is going to be more accurate, and then we generate turnover, extra turnover. Okay, these kind of things are very well known, and some use cases are very well documented, I would say, and understood by the community. But there are some other processes that could benefit from RAIN RFID. We are sure of that. That were made for instance, optical barcode reading or some other element, but will really strongly benefit from the migration from something to RAIN RFID. And because of course it's accurate reading, it's fast reading, a lot of course what we know from RAIN RFID technology. But in fact, what is important in this challenge is to be able to demonstrate that on this new kind of use case that are not well developed, RAIN RFID could bring value. So first of all, to demonstrate that RAIN RFID will bring value, and to try to evaluate what kind of value would be generated thanks to RAIN RFID. So it's a mix of, I would say, technical and more marketing elements. So of course, in retail, in manufacturing, in logistics. So we put some candidate, but it's really for the sake of showing some examples. A picking store, for instance, a click and collect, payment by zone, So these are new elements. We have sometimes see few technical demonstration, but I think it's important to really explain and to dig a little bit on what will be the benefits, what will be the real benefit. So a little bit of technical, but some business elements. Yuzi, you want to build on my words, please?
Yeah, thanks. Just to add a kind of a maybe one thing which I had in mind is that very typically when considering utilizing RAIN RFID, for example, in different kind of industries, the target or the location of the process where the RFID would be used is already quite optimized. During the years of production, companies have very optimized processes. So taking new technology in the middle of their production process, it might require quite a lot of confirming and quite a lot of data to make sure that it is really worth of trying a new technology, which might even change their processes a bit. So that was the also a bit of an idea in this statement, that in the challenge, that is there any good practicalities or ways or what kind of I don't know, solutions could be presented, that what makes taking RFID into use easier for end users when they are maybe a bit afraid of messing with their production processes, which are important for them.
Thank you both. So we're almost done with this presentation. I just have a couple of slides left, which tell you the key dates and key kind of next steps. So in terms of the shape of the program, we are asking challenge teams to form, and there's a form that needs to be filled. There's a link down there at the bottom of the slide. RAIN Alliance 10th Anniversary Innovation Challenge. It's a bit of a mouthful. You have to do a lot of typing to get to that link, but hopefully you'll remember what it is. So we'd like challenge teams to be announced on the 12th of April. Then the challenge teams will work together through the late spring and throughout the summer in order to produce their solutions and innovations. And the whole program will culminate at our RAIN in Action event in Florence, which is the week of the 23rd of September. We're going to be aiming to have as many end users as we can at that event, and as many of our challenge teams represented, so that we can, make those connections between the end user community and the supplier community that are solving these challenges. And that's really a very important part of this program. By the 12th of April, there is a form that needs to be filled in, which is at that link. And just to give you an idea, we are asking you to come up with a name for your team, to identify, the key details of each member company participant. So individuals, headshots and bios. So that already tells you we do plan to have hopefully quite an exciting web page talking about who is looking at addressing each of these challenges. And also, of course, identifying which challenge the team will be focused on answering, and also give us some input in terms of why you've decided to participate in this anniversary challenge, so that we can hopefully build this program into something that repeats perhaps annually and make it more and more valuable and more beneficial to all of the participants. So when you go to complete your form, you will be asked for this information on the website. And that brings us to Q&A. So thank you very much, everybody. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now because I can't see the questions while I'm sharing my screen. And I'm going to take a look and see what we've got. So here we go. So anybody who has questions, please put them into the Q&A tab at the bottom of the of your webinar screen. So I do have one question that's come in, which is related to the types of outputs that we ideally would like to see. And we have put quite a bit of thought into what the outputs should be. And actually, because the nature of the challenges is so different, it's quite hard to put any specific answer to that question. So on the slides you'll have seen, we would love, of course, we want to see demos and video presentations and general presentations when we're in Florence, but we would like new guidelines or updated guidelines and best practices, case studies, white papers, anything like that that can be picked up and provide further value to the community. Next question. Might there be an opportunity for office hours with end users to understand if the proposed approach meets their needs? So I'm going to volunteer that the answer is yes, of course, but I do know that Hans-Peter and Jussi and Hervé have been very generous with their time, and I'm sure they absolutely would continue to be generous with their time. Just to let you know, I also spoke with GS1 US RFID, I think they call it the cross-industry group, last week, and we talked about this innovation challenge. There were a lot of end users on that call as well, so I'm hoping to, as we move between now and September, to pull more and more end users in and get their views on some of these challenges as well. So and Peter, Jussi and Hervé, would you be willing to do an out of office if anyone has specific questions? Not out of office, an office hours, if anyone has specific questions on these challenges.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, we have another question, which is there a prize? In fact, two questions around that. Will there be winners? And if so, who will judge the submissions? So the answer is there is no formal judging and no formal kind of one solution is deemed better than another. And the reason for that is because being our first time and the nature of the challenges, they're very different and diverse. The types of outputs that are produced in response to each of the challenges might also be very diverse. So we think it's probably quite difficult to put any judging criteria in place, at least for this first time. But what we will be doing in Florence is we're going to have a delegate or an audience favorite award, so that people who are attending the event will be able to vote. That will be more of a fun prize, but also, super interesting. So it will be around how compelling is your demo, your presentation? Are you able to make it fun? Are you able to really show value in a meaningful way? So not judges per se, but an audience favorite prize. Do we have any other questions? If there are no other questions for today, I am very happy to answer any questions or funnel them through to our end users if I think that's going to be the most appropriate way to get an answer. So there is a question here. Let me just check if I understand it. Besides the interest form, which is built on SurveyMonkey, is there another form that needs to be filled out in order to register? Yes. So we have had open over the last 10 days or so an expression of interest form, which we already have a number of companies that have said they're interested in participating, which is fantastic. That's on a company by company basis. So yes, on the link on which was on the previous slide or 2 slides ago, there is a form that will need to be completed for each challenge team. So that will encapsulate who are the 3+ companies that are going to participate in that challenge team. So it kind of puts the next level of specificity and sort of shapes the team for the challenge program. So yes, if you have already filled out an interest form, the next step will be to pull your team together and agree which challenge you're going to address and how, and complete the second form.
If I may add, I think the prize for doing that is also to get a lot of visibility. So basically, both, I would say, in terms of, I would say, to push for RAIN RFID technology as a solution for, I would say, new usage that will be beneficial, I would say, for the whole community, but also visibility as a participant directly, and also for the end users, because of course, as Elaine explains, in fact, as Elaine explained, sorry, we are going also to, we are discussing between end users, and in the end, if we find that some things are remarkable out of what we see, for sure, it's a good way to promote some elements. And I would say on top of that, I would say, welcome and push for collaboration between the different members.
Thanks, Hervé. Really important points. Any other questions? If not, we will call this meeting to a close. If you have any questions, email me directly, aileen@rainrfid.org, and I will make sure that you get an answer from the appropriate person as quickly as possible. Okay, so Hans-Peter, Hervé, Jussi, thank you so much for your help in getting the program this far, and look forward to continued engagement and seeing these challenges coming together over the coming months. Thanks very much, everybody.
Thank you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.